Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Yapping at the mouth like this shit is fun. If they hit you with a case, then your ass is done. Acting all surprised when you hear them come. Shut the fuck up and don't flap your gums. No one needs to know about the shit you do. You don't need to mention people in your crew. You don't need a film when you're making moves. Cops are always watching what you trying to prove. And why you tell the ops that you're on the prowl. They don't need to know that you're living foul. Either they could snitch, put you in a cell, or be ready for that ass and just lay you down. I got lucky, I picked up all the game.
Mic check, 1 2 1 2. What up, everyone? Welcome to the G-Lew show. After Hours Live. I am G-Lew. We got a special
this, man.
We got a special guest tonight.
And you know this, man.
My homeboy Incredible Javier, aka Big Crooked from El Monte, will be here live tonight, everyone. In just 1 minute. Sorry we started late. Hold up. Check. Sorry we started late. We had some technical difficulties out of my control. So we are here now though. Everyone tap in, tell a friend, tell a hater to tell a player, tag everyone, hit everyone, text them, whatever. Tell them, man, my boy Incredible Javier is here in the building. I'm gonna give you guys a couple more minutes to tap in. Hold on 1 second. But sorry again, we had some technical difficulties. Okay.
There is a place very far from this world, and the only way you can get there is through music. Remember, only music can set you free and fill you with energy to life. Be prepared for a new music transformation. And in a moment, you will be transported to this place. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome
the G-Lew show. Without any further ado, everyone, good evening. I am G-Lew, your host with the most for the evening. And like I told you, we got a very special guest tonight. My homeboy, he's no stranger to danger and definitely no stranger to this show right here. He's been on here numerous times because this is family. As you all know, he has his own channel. Started off with YA Babies, telling great stories of homies that were locked up as well as him. He went on to cover many great interviews, covering many different people, Mental Health Mondays. He had the Day Room, which was legendary and ahead of its time. Now he has a great animated series, in my opinion, the #1 animated series on YouTube right now. Without any further ado, let me welcome my guest, the incredible Javier is here.
G-Lew.
Hey, Javier, what's up, my boy?
Chilling with you, G.
Had to bring you in properly.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that, my boy.
How you doing, man?
Good. Feeling good.
Okay.
Got that low profile in the background. That's,
yes, sir. You knew. Okay, that's a real hip hopper right there, man.
Yeah, man.
I know that's one of your favorite. Well, I don't know if that's the same album, but one of your favorites by Dub C, right?
Yeah. Ain't a damn thing changed. It was after Low Profile. So after Low Profile,
he was with Coolio.
Him, Coolio, and Crazy Tunes. Rest in peace, Coolio. Rest in peace,
That's crazy. And Crazy Tunes, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
They got together and produced that album. Had a song that featured MC8 and who else was on there? who else? I know MC8 was on that song. If you don't work, you don't eat. I love that whole album, man. That's a dope album.
Classic. Would you have loved to what would have been your okay? I don't even want to put it out there because he's passed away, so I want to put that on the spot. But like, say if you had the Dub C and the Mad Circle interview, if you could interview either one of them, maybe a Dub C or Coolio if you had a chance.
Even Crazy Tunes, yeah, I would have loved to have done it.
Yeah.
Like I would have loved to have interviewed them, especially being that I heard they started off in their garage after DJ Aladdin left.
Yeah, shout out to Aladdin. I did get to interview Aladdin though. Shout out to DJ Aladdin.
Yeah, much to DJ Aladdin. After he left the Low Profile, Dub C had to figure something else out, and Crazy Tunes, his little brother, stepped up to the plate. I don't even know how they found Coolio, how they all linked. I would love to hear that story. Coolio from Compton.
Yeah, exactly. They're from South Central.
He's from South Central. Yeah, so I would love to hear how they made that connection. How right away, MC8 was down to jump on a track with them.
Right.
Ice Cube was down with them from the beginning. So I would love to have heard all that, right? How that all happened. So yeah, that would have definitely been something that I'd want to do for sure. But rest in peace to Crazy Tunes and Coolio.
Yes, indeed. Rest in peace, Crazy Tunes. And I got to meet Crazy Tunes and Dub, but never Coolio. But I would love to have that interview as well, man. A legend, changed the game, did so many things from coming from where he came from. Who would have thought from Dub C and the Mad Circle, which he was just low key in the group. He wasn't the one slated to be the star. And then Coolio took off and became the star, bigger than than everyone pretty much, because he pretty much went mainstream. With Gangsta's Paradise, man, was humongous.
Before then, he was known in the streets, for like I said, Dub C in the Mad Circle, also Standing in the County Line, Fantastic Voyage.
Fantastic Voyage.
Yeah, he was known. Yeah, he was known, but then
hits.
Paradise took it to a whole nother level.
Yeah. Yeah, it did. So shout out again to Coolio. We just want to pay our respects. Rest in peace to the legend. Also DJ Crazy Tunes, man.
Yeah, rest in peace to both.
Shout out to Dub C and the whole crew. Now let's get to my guest for tonight is the incredible Javier, aka Big Cricket from Monte. Briefly, Cricket, everyone on here pretty much kind of knows your story. They know, the people that follow me, they follow you as well. But for the people who just maybe checking you out for the first time and like who is this incredible Javier on G-Lew show, just give them a brief background, homie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So, I guess what you could say is I'm a content creator. I guess that's the appropriate term, right? I'm a content creator out of the city of El Monte. I had a pretty trippy background, right? Like I come from a multi-generational gang family. Grew up with that, ended up going to YA, and was fortunate enough to have life events that helped change who I am, change my perspective, and brought me to where I am today, where I'm on a more positive mindset, family man, and trying to, just do things a little different. All right. I try to do things a little different. Like G-Lew mentioned in the intro, did a lot of YA interviews, learned a lot from that. Honestly, I did. I could say I learned a lot from those interviews. Learned a lot from those interviews, moved on to other stuff, Mental Health Monday, learned a lot from that. Always grateful for people that share that. And to saying fuck it, I wanna start put the creator and content creator, right? And start creating animated series. Traviesos, the animated series. I'm working on the season finale right now. We're gonna get that going. As soon as that's done, I'll probably do. I have two things in the works that I'll figure out which one I'm gonna do. Either me as a pirate. That should be a trip. It's a pirate that his boat sinks, his ship sinks, and he ends up in a wormhole kind of thing, and ends up in the future. It's a present day, so he ends up in the present day, and he tries to adjust, and it's basically me as a pirate trying to adjust to that. Or I got the Gomez podcast, which is a member of the Traviesos crew. And podcast. That's dope. There's another one too. Another guy who probably is going to be his arch rival. I'm working on that character too to see if maybe he starts a podcast
for Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah. Well, more
Okay.
they're beefing, right? Like, so
Okay.
yeah, because beefing is big on social media. So I'm just
Right.
poke some light fun at it, right? Poke some
Right.
light fun at how sometimes it could be a little over the top and ridiculous, and have these guys go back and forth and shit like that. So there's different things that I'm thinking about doing right now. So I'll see what time permits and work on the next project.
Hey, I like that. You said, well, first of all, I know you're coming with the. I just got a chance to look at that video you put up when you were talking about the announcement about the Traviesos and what's going on with it and all that. I understand. Like you said, sometimes you kind of, it's a lot. You know what I mean? And you don't expect it. But I like the fact, like you said, you're coming with the season finale. It's going to be pretty long. But I like the fact that you said you're going to make a movie. I think that'll be dope. And then you could take your time. It's not really no limit. I'm sure you could take your time with it and make it come together. But the thing that can be great with that, not only you could change the game with that, but I'm sure that's when you could take it to the next level as far as making, seeing the fruits of your labor by saying, okay, the movie now you can put it out of people can pay to see it or however they have those Patreon things or whatever to because they got to pay for that, right?
That's what everybody wants me to do, but I'm not.
I mean, I know in a way, because I know
yeah.
you don't want to do it like that, but I mean in a way that it can, it'll be fair.
The only reason I say is because I have other people on board with Traviesos that are helping me out with it, and they're like, we got to get people to pay for it. But the whole thing is, I don't know. Like,
I'm only saying that because when you do a movie, that's different. I understand the series, volunteers, and everything, but when you really put a movie together, that's pretty big.
Yeah, I had a few people approach me about it, but to me, I always go back to being. I don't know why. I go back to being that poor kid in Monte that never had money, right? And I'm like, damn, what if there's somebody who really loves Traviesos but just can't afford to support it like that? What if they watch it and they love it and they just can't afford to watch the movie, right? And I know people are always like, well, they can cut here, cut there. I know what it's like to not be able to cut anywhere. Right, I know what it's like to be like, nah, I'm fucking broke. Like my account's negative, right? Like I'm not. I don't got a penny to my name. Like so. I don't know. That's the way I kind of look at it.
You can set it up where, like, okay, you already have your Traviesos channel, but bring it back when you have the movie. Maybe bring all the episodes back and all in one channel. Have that there up for view, and then say, okay, we have the movie, like almost a leading up to it, and then we have the movie already there promoting it. So when it comes up, we want this, or you could a Patreon page for the movie for proceeds. You know what I mean? But they can still view the series as well. You know what I mean? Just get them warmed up for the movie.
Yeah,
just got to be finesse. You got to creative with it. That's all. But
I'm a bad businessman. Honestly, I'm a terrible businessman. I'm a pretty good. I think I'm pretty good at being creative.
Right.
Terrible fucking business. Like terrible. That's why I try to have other people do it for me, but that doesn't work out either. Because you got to be able to do your own shit, right? Like you can't expect other people to want to push hard for your dream, like or for your vision, because it's yours, right? And no one else is gonna do it like you. So yeah, that is something I gotta work on. A lot of people tell me like, dog, you got to make some money off of this shit. But I'm like, I'm always the kind of person that's always like, man, I want the people, I want to share it. I want people to see it.
Right. But I'm like you too, man. I'm never one. I think it should be organic. I think when we're supposed to make the money how we want, it'll happen the way it does. That's why we put the work in and the passion. That's the difference with how some people get down. You know what I mean? And I think when it's time or when it's meant to be, that's how it would happen. The money will come without, because I'm like you too. I never like to ask or do any of that. I'm, none of that, man. Because we do this for the love, and of course, if people want to contribute or whatever, they'll do that on their own. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So, yeah.
If I'm gonna I'm up digging somebody's pockets, I'm gonna dig into a businessman's pocket.
Right.
Somebody who's like, well, I want to buy.
That's what they do.
Yeah. Like, all right, cool. Like you want to do something like that. Like,
but not for the people.
Yeah, exactly. That's the way I look at it. And I know people are like, dog, you got to be taking man. I don't know. It's just, that's the way I've always looked at it, right? It's like, I'm going to look out for the people, and the people who are trying to make money off of something, well, they could pay me.
Right. What up, Monique? So okay, let me take it back a bit, because we kind of gave you a background. Javier's background. He's from Vermont there. The big EMF, you know what I mean? Sure. We're not what's that word I'm looking for? um um glorifying gangs or anything. We're just giving you the story, homie, from EMF. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But has been on a long journey, changed his life. He gave you the whole background. Now he's a content creator, has done great things with his channel. Great things, Incredible Javier channel. Take us back to when you got the bug to want to start, because I know you had one of your first interviews, I want to say, with the homie American Cholo, or some. So take us back. What was the bug like after you had your interview? Like, what was it that made you say, okay, I want to try to do this as well?
Well, I've actually started before that. So
Okay.
what happened is I was on this TV show called Revenge Body with Khloe Kardashian. And when I was on there, we had to vlog every day. And at first it was awkward, like really awkward for me, because I grew up on the streets and we don't really talk to the cameras. Right. So that was something that I wasn't ready for. And they would get on me for that shit. They'd be like, look, I understand you don't like to do it. Because I'll tell them I'll do anything else. I'll fucking fight whoever you want me to fight. I'll do the craziest exercise you want me to do. I'm just not comfortable with the camera. I don't know. And they're like, I get you're not comfortable. You have to do it. Like we're paying you and you're on the show and you're getting benefits from it. So you have to do it. I was like, all right, cool. So I started vlogging and I got used to it. And then the show ended. And I was like, man, I kind of liked being able to say what I wanted to say. And there was so much that I felt that wasn't told on that episode about me. So like they didn't touch any of my YA stuff at all. They showed a few pictures, but they didn't touch any of that. So I started going on YouTube and started uploading videos of what I was like, basically like a vlog and shit.
Right.
I'd go on there saying what I wanted to say. People became fascinated with my YA stories. So a lot of people weren't telling like straight up YA stories, right? They were saying like when they went to prison and they'd mention YA, but they weren't like exclusively focused on YA stories. Like I started telling mine, and I said, you know what? I had some crazy stories, but I know other homies had like crazy ass stories, right? So I started interviewing them. First homie I interviewed was Young Beeves, Young Beeves Comedy. I interviewed him. He had a crazy.
You were the first. I would say you was the first to interview him, right?
I was the first one to interview him.
Yeah, you were the first. He's been able to do great things.
Yeah,
right on Incredible Javier. So first, I remember it was like because he was very different then. Not shy, but you could tell that was his first. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he really told his story, man. He was really honest and
he's polished now. You put him on any podcast, he's polished now. Back then, it was really raw. Yeah, I interviewed him. I interviewed my boy Rumble from Monrovia. He ended up he was
a great one.
Yeah, it was a trip. You know, he turned 18 months to 14 years and came out of Pelican Bay in that 14 years, right? So like I started telling all these or interviewing all these people, and American Cholo liked the Beeves interview. So he interviewed Beeves. And when he did that, much to the homie Young Beeves, man, because he looked out. He was like, hey, you should interview the guy that interviewed me. You know, he has a trippy story too. And he was like, fuck it, let's do it. So he interviewed me. And after that, you know, the story, my channel, I think it started coming up in numbers. I went from about, I think I had 200 subscribers to about 1,500.
Wow. And briefly, let me cut in. I would have to second that when you started doing the YA interviews, that's how I got on. Excuse me, got onto you, and it was just incredible. I was hooked off the. I don't even know how it came about. You know, how we just scroll. I don't really remember how, but I came across it and I was hooked after the first one, homie. Like I forgot which one I seen first, and I was hooked. And I'm just like, let me see if the homie got more on here. And then I was seeing more and more. Then I think, you know what I think? One of the first ones I think Cricket was with the female, bro. I was like, wow.
Was it Yahira or
not the other one, the little one. What they call her?
Damn, I can't remember.
Little
blonde
chick.
one. Yeah, blonde homegirl.
Little one or something. I don't know.
Little one.
Little one. Yeah. I'm like, wow, right? And then I just did. I was like, let me see what else the homie got. And I was like, wow, blown away. I was hooked, bro.
I appreciate that.
I was just watching the gang of interviews, and you had homies from Compton. You know what I mean? You had like different dudes who all shared the story of YA. and they all, you know what I mean. They all solidified you as well. So that let me know you were solid as well. So I was like, we got a real dude on here giving these interviews, but he was really there too. And everyone, you know what I mean, solidifies you, bro. So I was
I
like hooked.
appreciate that.
I was like, yeah, I even told you, I like, this is my favorite channel right now. You know,
Yeah, what I try to do too is I wanted to do it so that we weren't just telling war dogs. I wanted to get people who had changed their lives or were
Right.
attempting to change their lives, right? And so it was a trip because I didn't want to just bring somebody on like I'm on my way, I'm on the run right now and shit like that. It's
Right.
like, nah, man. Like I wanted to bring someone on that has really changed, so we can measure where they came from, right? We can measure like this is what they experienced. This is how far they've come, right? Look where they're at now. And I've interviewed some really dope individuals who were able to share their story and overcome. And like I said, I changed a lot through those interviews. They helped me see things that like in a way that I didn't realize. Like, I never thought about it that way. I never thought about it that way. So I became more like became a lot wiser because of them. So I'm grateful for even doing it. Hopefully, with time permits in the future, I'll start bringing back some of those
a new
interviews.
season of YA. But I know it's hard because you can only you max out at what you kind of can do, and especially solid homies like the ones you did, like the stories you captured. It's only kind of so much of that. But man, that was incredible, bro. Seriously, the
Appreciate that.
If you could say, let me speak on this briefly. I know it's hard to say one because you don't want to exclude, but if you can really point out one of, I don't want to say your favorite, but most memorable, and you know, just one that really that you remember the most, that touched you or changed, or just something about this interview that you remember that you did.
Well, there's a few of them, but I would have to say the Young Beeves one because that's the one that kicked it off. Right. That's the one that was the first. I was the first one to interview him. That was my first interview, and that's on the streets growing up. Even in Nellis, we were in Amigas, right? So it's like that. That's how. Yeah. Like we have neighborhood beef and shit, but as grown men, we respect each other. That's my friend. That's my boy right there. So that was the one that kicked it off. That showed maturity amongst these two men who were still trying to find our way. And in a way, back then, like you said, we were both raw, right? We both did not conduct ourselves like we do today, right? So that was a trip to watch, to even watch our growth now, to look back at that interview, like, damn, that's a trip. We've come a long way. So that was one of them. You know, Kaser says the one with the homie Joker, that was one where he allowed himself to become vulnerable, expressing his story. And it was one that was really like, man, that one.
Your other homeboy, all the EMF ones was pretty raw and crazy. But all dudes I knew from EMF were really, you know, like you from EMF, you know what I mean, you had to be like that was, I don't know, man. You guys were different. But it was your homeboy on there. I think he became, was that the guy that became a chef?
A Potro.
Yeah.
That was a trip when I still use that. I used his clip for TikTok. It did pretty well. But that was a trip. He seen his pops in the joint. Yeah, he seen his pops in the joint. His pops didn't recognize him. And then he like, that was a trip to me, like, fuck, man. Cause that was something that wasn't the first time I heard that. Like my uncle, who's actually, unfortunately, he's fighting a case right now. He might do all day, but he was in the county with his pops. But that was in the county. And then there was, if I continue to do what I was doing, luckily me and my pops, we never ended up in the same institutions. Right? We've been busted at the same time, but
at the same time we're locked up.
Yeah, we were busted. Okay. But I was a juvenile. I was a YA, and he was in the county.
Right.
And so we I'm fortunate that I've never shared a prison cell or prison yard or anything, or even jail cell, anything like that, or a dorm or anything with my pops. But I know people who have, and it's always it's fucked up because the dads always say like they feel fucked up about it. Like, damn, man, like, that's not what I wanted. That's not what I wanted for my kid. And I heard that a lot growing up. That's not what I want for you. That's not what I want, homie. Like I want better for my kids. But the thing is that unfortunately that do as I say, not as I do, that shit doesn't really work a lot of the time. So it's like you can't expect your kids to do different if you're showing them something, right? Like, this is what you're showing them. This is what they're gonna react. This is how they're gonna react to it. And I learned that firsthand because my parents were like, you should go to college, you should do this, you should do that. But I was like, I wasn't that bright growing up. How?
Right.
I don't know how to do that shit. I know what I can do. I can make my way to YA, right? So that's what I did. But I luckily, I got my wife now. She's my wife now. Back then, my girl pregnant, and I had to grow up quick and make some changes because I really meant it when I said, and not that they don't mean it, but I really meant it when I said I don't want my kids to go through what I went through. Right? Like I was 100% with that, and I said, all right, I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna do, but I know what I'm not going to do, and I took it from there.
That's right. Let me see. I thought I had some questions. So
DD Hairston, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's not it's fucked up, but it's not an unusual. Like, it's not normal, but it's not something that's unusual.
Hey, what do you think though on the flip side of that? And I don't even want to go into this, but just because we're speaking on this, the flip side of that, like you said, parents don't want their kids, but especially when you come up, in the inner cities, in gang neighborhoods or whatever, and your dad is in the gang or your whoever, your family, of course, that's what the youngster wants to be like, regardless. But what do you think when turn the tables around and we had this situation, and not to get deeply into it, I'm just speaking on the topic, when you have someone like the dad who's involving his kid, like this PNB thing, you know what I mean? Like
yeah,
crazy.
I was actually crazy about that. Is the dad? I don't know if he'll remember me, but I was in YA with the dad.
Oh wow, you serious?
Yeah, him and his two homies.
Wow.
Knew his homies more. His homies were brothers. Spider and the little brother was fucking crazy. Bone, 8'7".
Wow.
Yeah, it was Dizzy. There's the one, unfortunately, is locked up for it right now. But Dizzy,
you probably spoke on this. I must have missed this live. Did you speak on this already?
No, I never did. But I was in YA with all three of them. Fortunately, Spider, me and Spider's our YA numbers. We went to YA together. Our YA numbers like one apart. I think he's 6'7" or 6'9" at the end, and I'm 6'8". So 8, 4, 5, 6, 8.
Right here, people.
Yeah,
wow.
And so Spider was a good cat. I think he's resting in peace right now, unfortunately. But they were I knew them, and it's unfortunate because that's what happens, right? You learn, you teach your kids what you learn, and you don't want them to do it. And my mom would always tell my dad, stop fucking telling him that shit, because my dad would say, son, I don't want you to go to the joint, but if you do, this is how it operates.
Right.
Because he didn't want me to go out there and fuck myself all up. And that's what I say. Like I say in one of my songs, like homies share love the best way that they could. Share what they love the most. This is our hood. Right? Because that's what they love the most is the hood. And they're sharing that with you. So for them, they're giving a part to you. Like, look, I'm gonna give you part of this. What I enjoy, what I love, what I embrace, right? I'm giving that to you, and it may be a corrupted or a distorted kind of love, but it's the only love that they know. So I'm not surprised when fathers do that with their kids, because they think, look, he's gonna do it anyway. He might as well do it the right way, right? And I've been torn on that shit. I'm not gonna lie, because I have young family members who are, they chose to go that route, and people are like, how come you don't lace them up? How come you don't lace them up? And I said, because I don't want to lace them. Like, I don't want them in this shit, right? I don't want them in this shit. Like, what if they fuck up? Like, they might, because we're living in some hectic times, but I don't want to be the person that gets them sent to that fucking place. I'm not going to glorify it or glamorize it or tell them, like, fuck no, none of that shit. I'm letting you know, do something else with your life. Right? Like shit. Well, how do I do this? You're not talking to the right person. I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you how to be feed man, how to be solid or not Charlotte. Fuck that. Because I want you to be I want you to wear a suit, not cuffs. So, and if they choose to do that, my conscience is clear, where it's like, I had nothing to do with that. Like they chose that route for themselves, unfortunately. and it hurts my heart that they would go that route, but it's not something that I involved myself in.
Hey, we taught our kids different. Yeah. Hey, Javier, let me ask you this. Speaking on your transition, when I say transition, not meaning you left the gang or anything, you just changed your life totally, what you had to. How long did it take you? I don't know if I ever asked you this. I asked you about your transition, but I want to ask you, like, how long did it take you to really make the transition? Because sometimes we say we're doing this and we're doing that, but we straddle the fence. We say we're doing this, but we get back around the homies and it's won't do. You know what I mean? How long did it take you to really, you know what I mean?
I'd
Really
say,
put there like, okay, I'm not fucking around anymore.
honestly, maybe 14, 15 years.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So it was a journey.
Yeah, there were times where, especially immediately when I first got out, this is the thing, right? When you get out, I didn't give a fuck. I didn't want to go back to jail, but I was like, whatever happens, happens. But I wanted to stay out, but that proved to be very difficult, right? I found myself hiding from cops and shit like that.
Right.
And then I got a job, went to work, things became a little easier. But I still found myself getting into certain things, fighting and doing other dumb shit. And that lasted for a long. I had like kids already, and like still doing dumb shit like that. And there were even times where like I would snap, and then just recently, like I started just saying, nah, man, like I have to think of myself as a father first. I'm a father and a husband, right? That's what I have to think of myself as. So as a father and a husband, I must conduct myself as a father and a husband, right? So that's primary to me. That's what I am primarily. I'm a father and a husband. Everything else is secondary to me, right? And so that was hard for me because at first,
because how do you even know how to be a husband? Well, I don't know. You had your mom and dad all together all the time, but how does one know how to be a proper husband?
So
father, when you
even that, and this is what the trip, and I don't want to. I'm keeping it real. This is how it was growing up. My mom and dad, very very brutal, violent relationship, right? So for me, and I don't want to sound fucked up, but this is the way it was for me. I wasn't against hitting women in my younger days,
right?
Like, because that's what I saw. Like, fuck it, whatever, right? But what happened is when I realized my wife was pregnant, and I'm fortunate, like I never laid my hands on Rosie,
right?
But when she was pregnant, I thought to myself, I can't do what my mom and dad did to each other, because I said I don't want my kids to see the exact same thing.
Well, when did it click? Because you said before you were okay with it. Was it just a click? What was it that
like she said she was pregnant?
Oh, okay. I got you.
She was pregnant, and I was just like, I started thinking, damn, life has to change.
Right.
Life, like things have to change. And that was one of the first things I said is, nah, I can't do that. I do not want to put my hands. Now I'm at the point where I will not put my hands on a woman at all. Right. So I realized how wrong I was in back in the day. A lot of things. There was a lot of things I was wrong about. Right. Like I was a very immature, very self-centered and egocentric man or kid, little boy.
Right.
I say little boy, because that's I thought like a little boy, I thought like a child. And so that was one of the things I thought, like, I'm not gonna put my hands on the mother of my children. Right. We don't even yell at each other, because I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. There's another thing. I'm kind of traumatized when it comes to that yelling. It brings me back. If I hear couples yelling, that shit brings me back to my childhood when my mom and dad that's how it always started, right?
Right.
So like I don't want that shit in my life.
How did that make you feel? Let me ask you this. How did that make you feel as a child? I mean, I'm sure, like you said, you got numb to it and you had to be tough and all that, but how did that really make you feel as a kid, maybe seeing that with your parents or whatever you saw?
It was fucked up. It was really fucked up. Like it was crazy because it would start off with smiles and laughs, right? It would start off with everybody happy, and me and my brother, we'd go to sleep, and the music would be loud. I could sleep with loud music, right? Because when I was a kid, that's what my parents did. They bumped all kinds of like loud party music and shit.
Right.
And when that music was low and I woke up, I knew something was wrong because the party's over, right? The party is over. And sure enough, when you see, I've seen some shit where I see my mom bleeding from her fucking like head because my dad's bombing on her. I see my dad bleeding. Like they would go at it, throwing shit at each other. I seen our house like get fucking ruined. Like, what are you guys doing, man? Like, this is our house. Like, why are you breaking this fucking furniture on each other? What are you doing? And beer bottles.
It's like not to say the same things were going on, but you put me in a mind state of like how Kane was as a kid in Menace to Society. Could you like not in that same way, but like you said, you just seen things as a kid.
Yeah, and you're watching it as a child, and you're not understanding exactly what's happening. You see things from a perspective of a child, and you don't know. And I'll tell a story that I wrote a book, but I haven't put it out. I'm gonna look for an editor, and I'll probably put it out. First chapter is about
That's
one of those nights.
does, by the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh shit, DD will. Yeah, I'm back at work, so we'll figure something out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So fucking but yeah, one of my this is probably why I have such a disdain for cops too. All of it's connected, right? Like all of my whole it's all connected to my childhood, and I try to overcome a lot of the trauma. Some of it's still there though. Some of it's still there, and then I tried my hardest to think like a grown man, but sometimes those feelings they still there, right?
Right.
So I was a kid, young, probably about I'd say 4 or 5 years old, and this isn't the first time this happened. The cops came in and they flashed a fucking light in my face. I'm asleep. I'm knocked the fuck out. They flash it in my face. They flash it in my brother's face. And we're like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? They're like, oh, go back to sleep. Motherfucker, you just woke me up with the fucking light, right? And they end up walking out. And my brother like, what the fuck happened? Why are the cops here? Like what the fuck? What's going on, right? Mm-hmm. And you can hear the walkie-talkie, all that, right? Getting further and further. So I realized, damn, nobody's in the pad. We were in an apartment on the top of the apartment. Mm-hmm. So I said, okay. So I walked out, and sure enough, you could still hear the oldies playing, but very low now, right? You could see all kinds of beer bottles everywhere, ashtrays, all that shit everywhere, right? I walk out, and I start going down the street. I mean, not down the street, down the stairs. When I'm going down the stairs, I see the lights, right? And I'm like, oh shit, the cops are downstairs. And it's crazy because my apartment faced that way, right? But the cops were that way, didn't face that way. So I had no idea like what was happening. So I go out there, and then the stairs face that way. So in order for me to get back where I need to go is going down the stairs and turning the corner. So I go down the stairs, peep my head around the building, and I see my dad handcuffed on his knees. And I was like, oh fuck, what happened? Right? You have the cop standing above him, and he spotted me. Like, son, come here, give me a hug. And I went to give my dad a hug, but the cop stopped me. Stop right there. And then he's like, fuck them, give me a hug. And then I went, and he's like, the cop stopped me. And he seen me confused. I think he was drunk, honestly. He was like, at the time, it was just like something else, like to me, right? So he's like, who are you gonna listen to? Me? Who are you gonna listen to? Me or this fucking stranger you don't even know? And so I ran towards him, and the cop grabbed me and pulled me and put me back in the house. But when I seen them pissed, like they looked fucking mad, like they were pissed at my dad. And they put him in the car, and I remember seeing like a defiant smile on him. And to me, it was just like, man, that I don't know. I looked at it a certain way. Like he was a hero to me, because even though they had him on the ground and everything, he was still defiant, and he was still getting under their skin. But that's how I grew up, right? Like he went to jail that day, I think, for domestic assault. I think him and my mom got into it, and that's what they were taking him for. But like he was out a few days later. Like it was the 80s. It was the 80s and shit. So he was out soon, real quick, like probably the next day even. And that's the way it was. It was like it would always start off as.
Let me ask you this about your pops, because I know you really looked up to your pops a lot, and then even to the point that you said earlier that you didn't probably think it was anything wrong with hitting women. Do you think that's more I think that's more of coming more from the fact that you so much you loved your pops and looked up to your pops that maybe you thought, he could do no wrong, and maybe that wasn't wrong.
Yeah. There was a lot of things that he did that I excused and I just looked the other way on, and it's gonna be fucked up. It's not fucked up, but I partied with my pops.
Right.
Like, we partied. We picked up Hinas. We fucking got high. We did all that shit. Right.
You got to do it all with your. I mean, it's fucked up. Like you said, that really sounds cool though. Like to
yeah, it was.
That, you know what I mean? With your pops one time. You know what I mean? It's okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like one time my mom, she was drunk over something. I don't know. She was drunk, and I guess she threw my dad out. And she got mad. I think she was mad that I was like protecting my pops and shit. I came in the house and she started yelling at me. I was like, "Hey, what are you tripping on me for?" Right? And she's like, "You get the fuck out with him then." I was like, "Cool, like whatever, man." So fucking I went out with my dad and we were voloing the whole night. Like we had a fucking cool ass night. We were partying from motels, like hotel suites to motel rooms, like just all over the place, right? In the whole night. Went to sleep. He did me dirty though, fucking asshole. I love my pops, but he did me dirty. So it was me, my cousin. We called him Primo, like just because he's my cousin and shit, and my dad. We were all in the car. We were like fucking at the end of the night, probably like 4 or 5 in the morning. Like, damn, we got nowhere to go now. So we're crashed out in the car. I wake up and my dad's gone. I'm like, "Hey, Primo, where my pops go?" Like, I don't know. Like, he's just waking up too, right?
Right.
I was like, "Man, I'm gonna go on the pad then, G." He's like, "All right, cool." I go on the pad and my dad's asleep. Like, motherfucker, could have woke me up too. Yeah, so that's just with that.
That's good that you have memories like that. Though,
yeah. There was a few things. There was like, it was a trip, man. But like I said, he believed like he was steering me in the right direction because that's what he knew. That's all he knew. So what is he going to teach me? How is he going to teach me how to get to college? How is he going to teach me how to do any of that?
Hey, did you ever being that you guys got to kick it and have a good time and party, did you ever like being that okay, now you're Little Cricket? Or I don't know, at this time when all that happened, you already Little Cricket. You're not Little Cricket, you're your own Cricket, but did you guys ever get to have any conversations as far as gang shit and like, son, how did he feel about like anything about the neighborhood?
Yeah. So we did our thing. We gangbanged together and shit.
Okay.
Yeah,
so it was all good. Okay.
Yeah. As soon as he got out, because he was busted for a lot of my younger years. He got out when I was a teen. So I was already banging and shit.
Okay.
And then he goes, that was one of the first.
Did he hear about you? Did he say did he hear about you?
I've been seeing Little Cricket written everywhere. I was like, oh, okay. And he's like, at first I thought he was talking shit because I was gonna bomb him, like not bombing him, but I was gonna like throw hands with him because he's like, don't call yourself Little Cricket. I said, what the fuck? Like what are you trying to say, homie? Right? Like, just be Cricket. Like, I'm already an older. Like, take over, homie. Like take over that shit. Fuck it. That's what you want to do. So after that, yeah, but still to his homies, like I was still Little Cricket because they knew me as Little Cricket. Even homie Petey hits me up all the time. He's still, what's up, Little Cricket? What's up, Little Cricket? Because
you got to meet. Well, boy, not me. I'm sure you knew some, but got to exchange some maybe stories or interact with some of his homies as well.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Even when I was a kid, I remember when I got out of YA. Homie Listo, rest in peace. That was the boy. Like that was my dad's crime partner. Like they used to like, and when I was a kid, we used to play with his daughters.
Right.
We used to play in the front yard and shit. Like, we were little ass kids and shit. And got out of YA, went to a junta. One of the first people there, and he was there. He was already there, sitting on the on a bench. We had a bench right there, and I walk up to him like, "Listo," because he looked exactly the same. Right. I was like, "Oh shit!" Like, it's like fucking Listo. I haven't seen him since I was like a little ass kid, and I'm in my 20s now. I was about 20 years old. I was about 20 years old. And I said, Listo. He's like, so homie, looks at me. I says, it's me, Javier. He's like, oh shit, I heard you were from the neighborhood now. He's like, damn man, it's been a long time. And so we started chopping it up about how his daughters were, how his wife was, and or his ex-wife now. He's rest in peace too, unfortunately. But we were chopping it up for a good while till the junta started, and it was a trip. So there was a few homies. There were a few homies that knew me from since I was a baby.
Right.
Yeah, and it was they like I said they always try to share love the best way that they could by giving me what they thought was the knowledge that I needed to excel in what I was doing.
Right. Let me ask you this briefly, and then I want to get to the music because that's why we're here tonight too. But we got incredible stories. What do you think now about what's going on not only your neighborhood, as far as the the culture of that situation which we come from, and all these things where it is now, and kind of what's going on now, the temperature and where you see things at? Because I know we see things a lot different, but unfortunately things are still going on. But what do you think about this how it is going on now?
Well, what I think is, as long as you have poverty, as long as you have trauma, as long as you have children who have a lack of guidance, you'll continue to have the problems that we had growing up. You'll continue to have that. It may morph into something that's unfamiliar to you because things do change. Times change, generations change. But at the heart of it, for me, is the fact that it's unfortunate that we still have poor, traumatized children out there, poor, hurt children out there in pain that are looking for something that they don't have at home on the streets. So for me, that's the, like, how they're doing it or not, like, I don't know. I like I said,
it don't even matter. It's like,
yeah.
long as it's the facts is the part that's the bottom line of everything. That's what causes everything. As long as that's there, whatever's going on is going to be bad.
Yeah, exactly. They're going to continue to hurt each other. They're going to continue to hurt themselves. And like I said, I told you stories already with my pops. Told you stories about Listo. There's been a lot of other homies. They were all dead before they were 55. Right? Like, and it's fucked up, man, because you don't live long in that lifestyle. You don't live long. You get to experience life fast, and it seems cool as fuck because it's dope when you're a teenager. It's dope when you're a young man, but it gets harder, progressively harder as you get older, right? And your body starts breaking down, your mind starts breaking down. You want the same man that you once were. It's crazy because when I was a kid, we used to get a kick out of that shit. You would have homies, and I think about it, right? You would have homies that got out the joint, big as fuck on swole, and they would try to like get down with the youngsters there to show they're still the man, right? They're still the man. But what ends up fucking up is they get out and their rutina changes. They're not doing burpees every day.
Yeah, that shit wears off a few months.
Yeah. So, but to them, they're looking in the mirror and they're seeing that same cat, and they're coming at you like they're all hard. But you got some of these youngsters who are coming out of camp, coming out of YA, and you try to push up on them, and it's crazy because you would see youngsters bombing on these old cats. Boom, 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 get the fuck out of here, right? And then to them, that's a notch in their belt. I just fucked up the older homie and shit. We would always see that shit because it's sad because homie still looks at himself a certain way because he is a young man.
Right.
He is, but he lived so fast and so hard that his body is deteriorating, his mind is deteriorating at an accelerated rate. So by the time he's 30, he's already like 50, right? By the time he's 50, he's like 80, 90 years old, basically, right? Yeah, and that's when their body starts shutting down and they start passing away. And like I said, I've had so many homies that have passed away before they were 55. They didn't even get to see retirement.
How does it feel? Let me ask you this, bro, because now you're one of the you're one of the homies that's quote unquote breaking the cycle. Because I mean, I want to ask you this: how does it feel? Maybe you don't see it because you're still living it, but to come from where you came from, like you said, and survive that, survive that, be a regular citizen, a family man for the most part. But now to see your kids grow and become grown, and you know what I mean, uh, school finish. You know what I mean. You're going through all of that now. You've done that as well. Like, how does that feel, bro? Like personally, man. Like,
I feel very fortunate, very fortunate. And I said this a gang of times, and I mean it. I mean it 100%. When I wake up in the morning, well, now I'm waking up before the sun rises, but when I wake up and the sun is shining on me, I really feel like the sun is shining on me,
right,
because I have an opportunity that a lot of homies didn't have an opportunity for. We were all doing the same thing, and other homies, unfortunately, their life was either cut short or they ended up doing long ass stretches. Right? I got lucky that I got busted as a juvenile when a lot of other homies were getting busted, tried as adults. Right? I got I got lucky that when I got out, I came home to a stable environment, because I had a lot of, at that point, my mom and dad were working and they were sober. And so that helped out a lot to come home to a stable environment. I got lucky that Rosie was willing to change with me. So there's a number of different things that happened in my life that were like, I'm never gonna say like, I was just a smarter guy, or nah, fuck no, hell no. I just got lucky. There were certain circumstances that came about that helped me, and I'm grateful for that. And that's why I say I feel like the sun is shining on me, because when the sun is shining, like, I have the opportunity to do something that a lot of homies that aren't here or that are locked up don't have the opportunity to do. So I can't look at life in a way that's negative or fucked up, because we got hard times. Everybody has hard times. Well, whatever, man. Like, shit, it could be way worse. I understand that it could be way fucking worse.
Right. So do you feel like, I mean, not do you feel like me, you've done it and lived it, but to, man, just to like, do you feel like proud of yourself? Sometimes you can say, man, I know you didn't expect much, man, but what you accomplished a lot, and the main thing is raising your kids, bro.
It's a trip, because I wait for them to tell me. Like, when they tell me I did a good job, then I'll know I did a good job. So I'm gonna wait for them, right? Like, the jury's still out on that. But I do feel that I was able to do some things that like I said, I did have certain opportunities that maybe other people didn't have, but at the same time, I was able to realize when those opportunities came about. Right? I didn't miss those opportunities. There may have been other opportunities I missed, but I didn't miss those opportunities. So because of that, yeah, there's a lot of things that I could do. There's a lot of things that I'm able to do right now that I'm happy for and I'm grateful for. And you could say, yeah, that I'm proud of. I'm proud that I'm able to just be me. I don't have to be this hardcore ass fucking guy. I don't have to put up a front. Like, people know, like I'm me. Like, yeah, I clown a lot. I fucking do cartoons. I got some hardcore ass homies that are doing voiceovers on those cartoons. I think about that, right? Like, dog, you want to be my cartoon? Come on. If you would have told somebody that 20 years ago, I would try to be your fucking cartoon necessary. Fuck that, homie, right? But it's like, dog, you want to be my cartoon? They seen it. Yeah, homie has to feed him a cartoon, right? So it's like I'm able to do things now that where I'm me. And I think that's what I'm proud of. I'm very proud of being a parent, but I want my kids to tell me, yeah, you did that. And then I can give myself credit, right? So when they do that, then they
will. They feel that. But kids are, especially at the ages they are, they're prideful and they'll want to.
Yeah. They got they're teens and they want to do their own thing, and they're figuring out life and but I'm glad that I set what I am proud of is that there's a lot of things they haven't seen, a lot of things they don't understand. It's unfortunate at times though, because they don't understand certain things. And that's what I have to tell them. You guys have been fortunate, even though you did not grow up rich, because they have a lot of friends who have money, right? I said, you've been in my pad. It's a nicer area, even though my pad isn't the nicest of pads, right? So it's like they grow up around people who have money,
right?
But
that's a beautiful thing about kids. They don't see, so they get to be around, just like you get to be around a lot of different people, and it's not like, you know what I mean, when you're young, too much of being judged. You know what I mean? You guys are just friends. So that's the good thing about kids. You know what I mean? That they can interact that way.
Yeah. So they're able to see things, but then sometimes they get a little they could be a little critical on certain people and situations, and I try to reel that in and help them understand like you guys had a very privileged life. Even though you haven't had everything that you wanted, but you have been privileged to not experience certain things, especially being where me and Rosie came from.
Mm.
Could have easily had a different life, right?
Right,
But
right,
we did our best to make sure they didn't.
right. That's beautiful, bro. How? Let me ask you one more thing on the kids thing because I know you have a daughter and you even escorted her to Disneyland, I guess, with their friend. But how do you deal with, or how are you going to deal with that situation with, with the boyfriend things and all that?
Oh, that was her boyfriend, and she's an adult. She's 18 years
Okay,
old, so
okay.
she can.
So
Yeah, I feel that she's in college. She is like working on her goals, and kids, they're human beings, right? That's the way I look at it. They're human beings, and they need to explore life, and they have to figure out their life. It's not going to be my life. It's her life now, right? So for me, that's her boyfriend, and like go for like do like be responsible what you're doing and chase your dreams. But she's able to have a relationship outside of that of her house, right? Because I'm her father,
right,
I'm her father, and I'm gonna guide her the best she could. But I want her to have healthy relationships outside of the home because that's what she's gonna need to do
right,
in order for her to be a well-adjusted adult. She
right,
needs to experience life. So yeah, for me, I'm never one of those guys like, nah, my daughter can't be with anyone. Like it's her life. It's her life. I want her to
100%
live
your
her.
attitude on that, bro.
Yeah,
That's
it's like
real.
I want her to live her life. I want her to have the same respect that I would give to my sons, and so it's like, like her and her boyfriend's a really dope kid too. Like, so
Right.
I think that kind of helps too.
Exactly. I was gonna say that
Yeah,
too. I'm sure it helps. I mean, when the guy is a decent guy, opposed to,
yeah.
you know what I mean?
He's going to
Yeah.
school to be an engineer,
Wow.
right? And he has a
That's
savings
great.
account.
Thank you,
And
Robert.
like, yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing a lot of good shit. I like the kid. I do.
that's good. That's good.
Hopefully it works out long term for them. But if not, then I still respect him. He's a good kid, man.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Okay, now enough of we've got, man. We went way deeper. You know what I mean? We're just having conversation. Incredible Javier is here with me, man. The homie, of course, had a great story. You guys heard some of it. Some of it you haven't. Some you got some exclusive here tonight. And the homie said he's writing a book. Can't wait for that. And maybe by that time, when the book comes out, being that you're being more advanced in your technology, I see you really taking it further. Javier, I see you really. This is the bug. With the animation, I see you doing more things too. I could see a Javier documentary or some movies coming as well.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. I thought about that honestly, but then I was like, damn, then I have to get voice actors to play. But I was like, I could do it, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me being lazy. I could do it. I think it would be an interesting movie.
Yeah.
It starts. I'm calling it the roots of a wildflower. It starts off with my pops and then ends with my pops when he passes away. So it's kind of it's a trip.
Wow. Yeah. So be on the lookout for that, people. Now let's get to this music, man. Now, we're here tonight too, man, because Javier is back in the booth. You know what I mean? He retired for a minute, but he's back like Too Short, and he has new music. So before we even get to the new music and talk about the new album, tell us a brief, since we did the background on your life. Tell us your background on music and when you became, you started rapping or when you wanted to rap and your love for hip hop, whatever. Give us some background, homie.
Yeah. So for those who caught the beginning with me and G-Lew, you guys might have seen like I love hip hop. I'm a hip hop head and fucking if I hear something and I'm like, oh yeah, that's that, right? Like fucking I heard Low Profile, in the background, pointed out right away. I think we had about a 7-8 minute discussion on Low Profile, Dub C and shit.
Yep, yep.
So
You guys go back if you missed that. Go ahead, bro.
yeah, so for me, I love hip hop, and when I first wanted to do it was back in I was about 5 years old, 1988. I had heard different tracks because my pops he was a DJ, so I heard like fucking the early NWA, like fucking JJ Fad, a
Mhm.
lot of
I
my
see the homie. Remember Candy? I see the homie Tony. Man, he's gonna have Candyman on there. I gotta check that out.
yeah, the
Yeah, the
knocking
homie
boots,
Candyman knocking boots. That was a
yeah,
classic.
that fucking I think that was produced by Rhythm D? I think that was the
D.
same producer that produced Real Motherfucking G's.
And Paperboy. Do I
Yeah,
get it?
yeah.
That's the Rhythm D.
Yeah, so fucking yeah, dude, you want it? Yeah, I love that song. That's a dope ass shit. Yeah. So fucking so my aunts they liked hip hop, but they liked more Def Jam, right?
Okay.
I
Yeah.
was big on
East Coast.
Slick Rick,
Yeah.
Beastie Boys, all that Run DMC.
Classic.
But for me, my aunt played fucking Life is Too Short. And what caught my ear first thing that caught my ear was say
Yeah. Don't fight
oh,
him and
that's
Forte.
yeah, first track right before Take came on. I thought that shit was dope. The way they went back and forth with it, I was like, oh, that's real dope.
Before his time, and they had the females on there like going in on him. I was like, wow, that was ahead of his time.
You should be too skinny. The size of money, you wouldn't have a penny. I was like, oh, they're fucking.
They were hard though. The thing that kills me, I was like, if you listen to them even now, I was like, they were hard. I don't know why we didn't hear them anymore.
Yeah, that's a trip too. Like
they were hard, bro.
Not even credited.
That was in '88, dude.
Yeah, they weren't even credited. That's fucked up.
Exactly.
But what the trip is
all in that.
What got me though, that song caught my ear because I hadn't even heard anything like that. That was like, I think you end up hearing it later, right. Especially with the Special K and this shit like that, right? But what caught my ear was the next song. So that one caught my ear, but what made me want to rap, I should say, was the next song, right?
What's that?
So you motherfuckers thought I was gonna change my style.
So what are you saying, Ty? All you bitches, hoes, and all that. What is that? The Dope Fiend beat?
Huh?
Is that the Dope Fiend beat or the cuss word?
That's cuss word.
Yeah, cuss words.
It's Ronald Reagan. Dun, dun. That's when the horns come in. Dun, 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 dun. And when I heard that,
Too Short was the one who, I mean, being that even everyone was in LA, but if you had bumps, you had to bang some Too Short. That's when you knew. They were bumping Too Short. That's if you had bumps. Because Too Short always had that bass, bro. Always.
Yeah, that he was like, looking so far up, you might fall down, getting clowned by the hound from East Oak Town. I was like, oh fuck, like damn. Dun, 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 dun.
For sure.
And then shit. So that's that, like that. I was like, I want to do that. Like I want to do that. That was one of the songs. That song of Boys in the Hood, because Boys in the Hood was more like fucking, it got me like like that shit told a crazy story that it was familiar, right? But
like you said, that Life is Too Short song though, to me, even to this day, I love Short. So many songs I love, but Life is Too Short, I just, something about that one, bro. I love that song.
Yeah, that beat is hard. I remember how it all began. I used to spit 30 raps.
I remember that video, dude. I was like, man, yeah.
So that song right there, cuss words, like I wanted to do that. Like I wanted to do that. And so I was young. I didn't start really writing rhymes until I was about like my teenage years. Actually about 12 years old. I remember now. It was about 96, 95 or 96. I don't recall. It was a Christmas, and my homegirl Trustless was actually on the album. She got a karaoke machine,
right,
for Christmas, and we used to make our own little tapes, right? Like the I Got 5 on it beat, rap to all that shit and shit like that. So that's kind of how I started. I ended up going to YA and shit, and then when I got out,
were you guys bumping? Were you guys able to get certain tapes in there and bump, or besides the radio? Like, did you guys get
certain cats where I wasn't? By that time, they took away a lot of shit when I got to Nellis. Like I was already at the end, right? Like that shit was already, like before people were like, man, we used to have weights, we used to have this, we had to package it. I didn't get shit. Like, damn, man, why the fuck it seems like that. Like I always get places when everybody says this place used to be dope. Like, damn, man. Like I don't know. Even when it works, shit. Like I'll get somewhere like, man, you should have got here like 6 months ago. It was off the hook. Shit's changed now. Like, oh, that's fucked up, man. So but yeah, I like that made me want to rap. And when I got out, I started writing rhymes, connected with my boy James the Just, and we started like just going on adventures and doing our own things, starting groups, performing, doing shit like that. It never really took off. I don't know, I don't know. Like I love doing it, but it never has really took off like that, where it's like nobody's really checking for my album and shit. You know what I mean? But that doesn't mean I can't put it out. Like I still love doing that shit. But
I
fucking
feel the same way. Like, fuck
yeah.
it. We could do this because we can, and we love to do it. And like you said, that's why, you got your own all these things that you can, how you can do it. You know what I mean? And it is people that appreciate it, bro. You know what I mean? That's the main thing.
Yeah, and the cool thing about it is it helped me with a lot of what I'm doing now. It was easy for me to transition into YouTube because all I needed to do was get a camera. I already had the sounds, the sound stuff, because I know how to fuck with that, right? Because I record, I know how to record. When I started doing cartoons, I knew how to fix the voiceovers and put that together because I know how to put together a song.
Right.
So it makes it easier because I was able to experiment with this shit, and makes it easier when you're doing interviews and stuff like that, because I've had to do shows in front of gang of people. Sometimes it's a harsh crowd, right? And you just got to keep going. You got to keep going with it.
Yeah. Let's well tell us about the projects you what have you done like when did you started rapping and everything? When did you put out your first project, or what did you do?
I did a lot of underground shit, and I would put out CDs before. And first thing I think it was 2005. Got out of YA, and just wanted to do it. 2004, 2005. I don't remember, one of those years. Did a group project, and we were just a lot of CDs. And what's fucked up is my computer's crashed, so I don't have those songs. But there's still some people out there who have them, and a lot of them were trippy, man. It's crazy. I've grown a lot from that too, and yeah. So a lot of people have certain stuff, but I got rid of a lot of my music, and then because I was like, I'm done with this shit. I keep saying that shit. I'm done with this shit. I ain't doing this shit no more. I'm done with this shit. But I put out an album maybe about 2 years ago that I was like, maybe I'll put this one. I'll keep this one out there, and then did this one right here 2 years later. So yeah, but for anything else people have for me is like really underground shit, because I don't a lot of it wasn't. It was just on CDs and shit like that.
How did you did you say you grew a lot with your style, your flow, or whatever? But like, did you change, like when you first were rapping? Were you like banged out still, like with your rap? Like, how was your raps, or were you always?
My shit was very cartoonish, cartoon violence, over sexualized music, just like 2 Live Crew, NWA kind of thing, right?
Okay.
Like a gangster 2 Live Crew kind of thing. One of my first songs, I try to say a lot of shit that was controversial and just shit like that. One of my first songs, I kick it off. I say, well, I was calling myself Cricket Nasty at the time. When you think Cricket Nasty, think I'm bound to hit. I smoke a pound of shit and pay with bills that are counterfeit. You know, my rhymes sound legit. I'm the roughest and toughest, although I'm not the buffest. I'll snatch a punk at his cutlass. Like shit like that, right? Like just like fucking around. I'm hardcore, and I'm gonna tell you why. And just shit like that. But it wasn't like on some banging shit. I did a few of those tracks with a few of the homies, but I tried to do more like just fucking around and showing like having fun with it kind of things. And the first time when I thought about like, oh shit, I didn't even think you can do something like that. I heard my my boy Godforsaken, dope ass artist, doesn't really get a lot of the love that he should be receiving because he's a dope ass artist. He has a song called Portraits of My Daughters, and that song really, really like touched me. God, like, damn, man. The whole song, he's talking about like he's getting up for work early. He is tired. He doesn't want to do this shit, but his portraits of his daughters keep him going. And it's a dope ass fucking song. And I was just like, damn, man, I had never heard something like that. Like he was rapping about being a father. He was rapping about the struggle of a well, he was young back then, a young Chicano man, right? And I was just like, I've heard Chicano rap, but it was like you said, more banged out shit like that. So when I heard his shit, I was just like blown away. Like I didn't even know we can do shit like that. And I started thinking about it, like, I'm a father, I'm a husband, like, but I'm rapping like I'm this single man, right? Like I'm talking about shit I used to do.
Right.
It's time to evolve and talk about shit that I am doing. And so I started telling a lot of stories, and there was one song that I really love. I can't find it. Called Living in Insanity. And it was stories. Like I told a lot of stories, and when Living in Insanity talks about a person on death row and how the victim mother forgave him. And so I told stories like that, just different things that I thought were a trip, because somebody had told me about it. Somebody at Bank of America, I was working at Bank of America at the time. They told me a story of lady was visiting her son's killer in prison, and she said she forgave him. And I was like, how? I didn't understand it at the time. And she just said, she was a religious lady, and that she had to forgive him. And I said, does everybody forgive him? She's like, no, their husband can't stand him. So I even say it in the song. Her husband on the other hand, hates this man. Fuck his apology. He doesn't even want to understand. All he knows is he'll never get to see his son again. He didn't only take his child, he took his best friend. So he hopes he dies alone and in pain, and the state decides to burn his remains. He knows feeling this way is a sin, but he'll never get to see what his son could have been. So like that's that was all just from a conversation I had. Right. And I was like, damn, I need to write this. So I started writing more. Like, it's not that I won't write about the streets. It's just when I write about it, it's gonna be a little different, So sometimes I'll just like be inspired by something and write and just start writing.
Right. Now we'll get to the music, but before I do that, let me ask you one more question on the hip hop tip.
Yes, sir.
Who were, I think I've asked you before, you've talked about some of your influences or favorite projects, but who were some of your main influences in rap that you could say that, man, like, I know you liked a lot of people, but you could really say, man, that's kind of, you know what I mean? The one influence on me.
Too Short, obviously. Too Short, Slick Rick, Ice Cube. Those were the three ones early on who really kind of morphed. I love the storytelling,
right?
And you could get that with all three of them, and that's those three for sure. Too Short, Slick Rick, and Ice Cube.
Okay, there it is. Now that brings us up to date with this new project that you have. First, tell us about the project, what's going on with it, how to come about, and when we can expect it, what's going on with it before we preview a few of these tracks.
Yes, sir. So it's called the Street Ethics LP right there, and it's it's out already. You could stream it anywhere.
It's out. Okay.
We're Spotify, Apple. It's out. So and it was originally, so I learned something throughout this process, right? So I started working on an album about 2 years ago, right after I did an album I did called Updated and Elevated. I did that album. After that, I started working on another album, and I showed a lot of that here, called Evolutionary Anachronism, and I didn't like the way a lot of it sounded. And it's not the beats. I love the beats. I just didn't like the way I sounded on them. Right. So I scrapped that album and said, I'm not going to do that. And I did one where I was going to do stories, Tales from the Nasty Crew. Unfortunately, my producer, a lot of shit started happening with him. So I didn't get to finish that either. But I was fucking around back here one day and came up on those sessions. I started looking at those sessions. Now, there's a lot of good shit on both of these sessions, right? So I said, what if I just rewrite the album? I take the best songs from the two albums and put it together, and just make one album, right? And that was difficult because, like I said, there were songs on there that were really meaningful and touching to me, but I realized I didn't sound comfortable on those songs.
Right.
So I wanted to get the songs where I sounded comfortable. That kind of made me like sound like good, right? It's like even though there were harder fucking beats or I would have loved this song, it's like that song was not for me. Like that's not something that I pulled off at this time. Maybe in the future I'll be able to revisit it and do it differently. But at this time, I tried to put it out. It just didn't work, right? And some of them were pretty deep, like talking about my boys that passed away, my pops and shit like that. But it didn't work at this time. So I got the 9 tracks and plus the old intro, kept the old intro and got 9 tracks, put them together, re-recorded them. I was sick at the time too. So my voice sounded a little different. And I said, I'm gonna record it while I'm sick because I really like the way I sound here. So I recorded the album, told my producer, I'm just gonna mix it. And he's like, let me mix it. Send me the stems. And I said, all right. So I sent him the stems and he shot it back, and it was done pretty quick. We did it in about a week.
Okay.
But we worked on it for about two years.
Right. But
yeah,
it came together once everything was done.
Yeah. Once we wanted it done, it was finished within about 2 weeks.
Okay. That's dope. So the new project, Street Ethics. Let's get into some of the music from there. Where do you want to go first?
Let's start with Let's start with Low Key, or Keep It Low Key, or like an OG. I'm not sure what it was. It's called Low Key now, but what I sent it to you it could have been like an OG or Keep It Low Key. Let me look here. It should be. Let me look at
I got it.
Yeah.
Here we go.
This one actually was made during those old sessions. So one of the homies did actually write a song called like Keep It Low Key.
Okay, here it is, Low Key.
Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Yapping at the mouth like this shit is fun. If they hit you with a case, then your ass is surprised when you hear them come. Shut the fuck up and don't flap your gums. No one needs to know about the shit you do. You don't need to mention people in your crew. You don't need a film when you're making moves. Cops are always watching what you trying to prove. And why you tell the ops that you're on the prowl. They don't need to know that you're living foul. Either they could snitch, put you in a cell, or be ready for that ass and just lay you down. I got lucky I picked up all the game. If you a pusher, you don't need fame. If you hood bound, floss in those chains, then your losses are someone else's gains. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. You better watch what the fuck flies out of your mouth, or somebody's about to get fucked up. Cats hear what you say, motherfuckers don't play, you can't explain it away. Never speak on anything you haven't learned. I don't know shit as far as I'm concerned. Playing around with fire, then you will get burned. Observe what you can, don't speak out of turn. Never write checks that you can't cash. Those big ass mouths, man, they can't last. Fuck around with tests that you can't pass. Eyes will speak everything you can't mask. I got lucky I picked up all the game. If you a gangster, you don't need fame. If they catch you, you don't point blame. If you ain't ready, homie, stay in your lane. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely. Keep it low key, like an OG. Make sure they don't know me. Make sure they don't approach me. So you gotta watch them closely.
That's hard right there. That's hard right there. I like that one, Javi. I
appreciate that.
Yeah, that's hard right there, my boy. Ooh,
yeah, I wanted to do something that's like we did that one. What you call it? We're supposed to do, like I said, the Tales from the Nasty Crew album, and somebody was like, "Oh, keep it low key, right?" So that's when I came up with the hook right there. Where we were doing those sessions, keep it low key, like an OG. And I was like, fuck it, make sure they don't know me, make sure they don't approach. So I wrote the hook, and then it was a totally different song because it was like we're telling a story. So I wanted to keep the song. So I said I'm just gonna come at it from a different angle. So I wrote that shit right there.
Hey, the homie S.A. Bunny said I'm jamming out to
Stressed Out. Stressed Out is a that's the other thing too. Like it's a totally different. Some songs are like that, like real G. Stressed Out is a totally different song. You want if you wanted to play that one, we could definitely play that one. But that one's totally different. It's more about having mental health issues and dealing with day-to-day life. Right. Like that one's and just even shit. Sometimes we don't feel our best.
Right.
Triggs, what up, G? I said Benny.
What up, Benny? Hey, we're gonna bang this for the homie Benny.
Deal to respect.
I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts. I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. I'm feeling stranded, feeling left out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts. I overread, I can't sleep. Same thoughts as last week. No matter what I do, success always seems to pass. No one understands me. I try to go from happy to aggravated. Man, I hit a smile for my family. Never feeling satisfied. Always feeling mad aside. Good day or bad day, who gives a fuck? I can't decide. Socially awkward, feeling like I'm not heard. Stutter when I speak. Using all the wrong words. Stress about it. I fucking stress about it. Life's going so fast that I seem to make a mess about it. Bills getting past due. Wish I didn't have to. Wake up every morning, go to work like a damn fool. Fuck these corporations. I have no motivation. When will life get better, man? Cause I have grown impatient. Most likely if you're born poor, you'll fuck around and die poor. Life's a damn scam, what the fuck we even try for? I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. I'm feeling stranded, feeling left out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts. I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. I'm feeling stranded, feeling left out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts. A world full of madness, I lay on the mattress. Why should I wake up? I blew all my chances. Strangers and rude, bad attitudes. Time to face the world in a bad fucking mood. I wanna take flight, sometimes I wanna fight. It's hard to contain all the rage that's inside. Fuck epilepsy, it's hard to stay friendly. My daughter having seizures, that shit really gets me. But then I remember the pain ain't unique. Controlling my temper, don't lose it, that's weak. Everyone struggles, the world could just crumble. Gotta stay strong through the pressures and troubles. I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. I'm feeling stranded, feeling left out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts. I can't take it cause I'm stressed out. I'm feeling stranded, feeling left out. Bad thoughts I need to get out. Move quick and forget doubts.
Yeah, so that one was a little different, you know what I mean? So that one was more like when you're having just those fucking days, man. We all get those days, you know, and for me it's like sometimes you want to be as positive as you can, but shit, it feels like shit's just crumbling.
They like that one. Yeah, they like that one though, bro.
Yeah, you know, I appreciate that, man. Like sometimes I wrote that shit when I was it's crazy. I wrote 2 parts to it. I wrote the first verse when I was really going through it, like, man, fuck this shit. And I wrote the second part where I was like feeling in a much better place, like because I was like, shit. I felt like I understood the first part. The first part when I wrote it, I didn't understand. I was just fucking raging, right? Like, shit, this shit fucking sucks. I'm fucking pissed off. The second part, I wrote it when I fully understood why I wrote the first part, and that's why I said, like, got to stay calm through the troubles and struggles. Like you sometimes it's just like it feels overwhelming, but don't lose it. That's weak. It's like shit. We have to control ourselves and go through it. So yeah, it's that was a trippy song, and that was one where I wasn't sure if I was gonna add it on the album, but I was like, nah, I definitely have to put that one on there because that one is, I think, something that a lot of people could relate to.
Right. Yeah, that's dope, bro. What you want to hit them with next?
Let's do California Sunshine.
Yeah, I was hoping you said that. I like this one.
Deal to respect.
like that California sometime. Get I'm making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine, I'ma shine like that California sunshine. On my grind, so I gotta come up sometime. Getting mine, making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine. If you're looking for success, then you're looking for commitment. Looking for that one thing that makes your ass different. Looking for a way to put yourself in a position where every time you speak, you make people want to listen. Ambition, humility, mixed with ability. Sacrifice is necessary, gotta do it willingly. Yeah, left the streets, but understand I'm still a G. Looking toward the future, exploring possibilities. Headaches, mistakes, how much more could you take? You get to a point where you feel like you might break. You know deep inside that there's something there that's great. Gotta stay on course and your destiny awaits. I'm glad it ain't easy, I'll take the adversity. Motivated by the doubts and uncertainty. On a come up, a new sense of urgency. I got a plan and it's working out perfectly. I'ma shine like that California sunshine. On my grind, so I gotta come up sometime. Getting mine, making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine, I'ma shine like that California sunshine. On my grind, so I gotta come up sometime. Getting mine, making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine. Yo, there were times when I thought I was done. Fight or flight, baby, never been one to run. Yeah, I've overcome, but I got more challenges. Used to scheme and plot with the devious callousness. Develop this mentality, a warrior spirit. Face a new reality when others would fear it. Fuck trying to make a dollar without trying to make an impact. Ain't afraid to fail, cause I learned from other mishaps. Grew from other missteps, kept my ego in check. Always stay prepared, I understand how shit gets. Ready for the battle, could never be dismantled. Emotional baggage, used to weigh me down like shackles. Shout out to my dogs that have learned from these lessons. Stay with family men, there wasn't street legends. You could never question a warrior's heart. Enjoy that shine more when you came from the dark. I'ma shine like that California sunshine. On my grind, so I gotta come up sometime. Getting mine, making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine, I'ma shine like that California sunshine. On my grind, so I gotta come up sometime. Getting mine, making moves, time to unwind. In that California sunshine.
That's another banger right there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I had to do that. That's why I end the album, because I wanted to do it with showing like showing like sometimes, not sometimes, for me, the struggle was worth it, because it the adversity built character, and I understand that part of the reason, or most of the reason why I am who I am today, is because I was able to experience those challenges and overcome those challenges. So that's why I was like, nah, I wanted to write a song about that, to show like, yeah, we could talk about those challenges and those struggles and how fucked up they are, but I also wanted to show like they if you survive them, right? You survive them and you learn from them, then they could really help build you, and they could help build character. And yeah, so that's why it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it like that. And I want to make it real West Coast at the same time.
Right. Are we gonna get any visuals for any of the songs?
I tried to do one. I really didn't. It was okay, but it's like more of animated visual. But I kind of rushed it, so I should have took a little longer on it. But we'll see. Maybe, possibly. I'll see if anyone I could reach out, see if anyone's willing to do it. I'm kind of pressed for time for a lot of that right now, but hopefully in the future we can get something going.
That's what's up. Okay. Street Ethics. What we got next, Hobby?
Let me see. What other songs did I send you?
I know you sent me a few.
Let me look here.
Scandalous.
Well, Scandalous Streets. Yeah, let's put Scandalous Streets. That was something that I just I put together real quick. That one was something that I wanted to do too, or kind of along the same lines of that one, right? Like talk about adversity, and just because I think a lot of people become defeated by life, and I just want to show like it could be rough, but you can get through it. So that's why I try to do songs like that. So yeah, let's play Scandalous Streets.
Let's do it.
Days on the scandalous streets. I don't want to die on the scandalous streets. I know I do.
want to die on the scandal streets.
Ain't many options left for me, I'm taking this. The greatness is a product of the struggle and creativeness. They hating this, they pitiful, miserable, scandalous individuals. Rather see me broke down, unheard, invisible, than see me flourish, not discouraged. Most these trolls are lacking courage. I'm a G, need no assurance, never break mental endurance. Could have been a tragedy, whacked out ghetto fantasy, consumed by the insanity. Came up for my family, finally got my shit together. Moving forward, still I better. Growth is always at the center. Now prepared for new endeavors, now prepared for new encounters. Nowadays I feel empowered, wanted boy a wildflower. Roots I have made me prouder.
Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets.
I try to do my best ever since a young child. I asked myself, how did I end up on a gang file? Trial, only once when I was 18. Before and after, always got away clean. Mom, forgive me for the DAs up in the house. Can't forget my sister's face when they swallow my mouth. On the couch thinking to myself, I'm a G. Look at my mom, tears rolling down both cheeks. I could see so much pain in my mom's eyes, cause she knows on these scandalous streets I'ma die. But I'm a father now, I grind harder now. I plan shit out, I'm way more smarter now.
Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets. Days on the scandal streets, I don't want to die on the scandal streets.
Wow. Wow. Hey, that man, that's a banger right there, Javier. Whoo.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that's a one day homegirl came and well, I really hoped the homies would have kept her around because I thought she was talented, but as soon as I heard her voice, I was like I want her on a song. So that day I recorded her. I said, hey, I got these songs that I want to do. Could you do this hook? And we ended up keeping that one. The other ones didn't work out, unfortunately. But that one, I was like, hell yeah. It was on a whole different beat. So when I heard that beat, I told Dill, hey, let's fucking I got a song at this tempo. Could you change the tempo to that tempo and use this hook? And he did it. And I was like, oh shit, that shit fit. So yeah, so yeah, that was fucking yeah, that was in the works for a while. I had that one in the cuts.
Wow, that sound like Latoya Williams. Shout out to Latoya. Hey, yeah, that's a banger. Wow. So the album, people, is out right now. Everything you've been hearing right now is out right now. You could go stream it at, like you said, all the major platforms, Spotify, all that. You know, all the major platforms. It's out right now. Street Ethics, Incredible Javier. What we got next? We got some more shit.
Yeah, let's do we could do another one. Let's do like my parents did.
Ooh. Incredible Javier.
Appreciate that, G.
Deals respect. Yeah. It's been a long ass road. Crazy ass journey. Here we go. Yeah. I was born to carry guns and shackers. They was deep inside. Follow Pop's footsteps, this could get hectic. Trying to earn a hood rep, I would get arrested. For robberies, yeah, poverty was no joke. But honestly, we wanna be more than broke. Miseryless company, the luxuries were minimal. The cops would always fuck with me, a love for being a criminal. Had me delusional, and funerals were routine. Wasn't unusual, seeing bullet holes in dope beans. My parents tried to prevent it, ended up behind bars. My stay was extended, represented I got scars. A common tale, so often we fail to see the light. Sent out to jail, the problems derail the dreams we might strive to achieve. We're deceived by false glory. It's hard to believe we repeat the same stories. I inherited the struggle like my parents did, but I came into this world unprepared for it. See, my father was a straight up G, and my mother's attitude was don't fuck with me. I inherited the struggle like my parents did, but I came into this world unprepared for it. See, my father was a straight up G, and my mother's attitude was don't fuck with me.
I've been around for many years, feeling empty, especially when there's plenty empty places out in the main streets. A baby crying loud in the mainstream, nightmare. Tell me why I ain't seen dad up in the joint, reppin' 18. Tell me what's the point when the 10-year daydream ends and it's all over again. Who gon' save me? Mom tried to raise me, she did what she could. Then my stepdad came and she forgot who I was. I was that kid, moving all over LA, that shit. Can't drive a kid to do bad shit. Imagine the madness that comes from the scandalous that happens every damn day to the masses. It's tragic. Damn it, it's not just about being poor. It's so much more that it burns to the core. Life already won, but who the fuck's keeping score? I was already done before I entered this world.
I inherited the struggle like my parents did, but I came into this world unprepared for it. See, my father was a straight up G, and my mother's attitude was don't fuck with me. I inherited the struggle like my parents did, but I came into this world unprepared for it. See, my father was a straight up G, and my mother's attitude was don't fuck with me.
Incredible Javier.
Sir.
That's another banger.
I appreciate that. Yeah, that was one that also had in the cuts for a while. I actually wrote that song when my pops was alive, and he always was like, my father was a straight up G, like that's right, son, that's right, son. So when I had the chance to record it properly, I felt, you know, I had to put that one out, pay homage to him, you know. Right. So it was but yeah, that one because it was crazy. That one happened when I was working at a bank. I was working at a bank, and a lot of people. I was working at this unit called deceased customer notification, where we give customers that pass away. We give we find out who the next of kin is, or who's gonna get their money, their inheritance, right?
Right.
And I started thinking, like, what the fuck do we inherit? The struggle. So that's when I started writing that shit. Like, I inherited the struggle, like my parents did, right? So like shit, they did too. So that's why I started writing. That's how I started writing it, just because I was like, fuck, just thinking like, damn, that's what we get to inherit. So yeah, that was the cause of that one. And then I started just doing that rhyme scheme, like, was born to be a gangster, a banger with too much pride. Carried guns and shankers, the gangster was deep inside, and then just took it from there.
Man, hey, this project is incredible, bro. Like, I mean, every song is like takes you like deeper or like different. Like every song is different from one another. You know what I mean? Let me say that. Like every song is
different.
That. It's not in one, it's like in one realm. Like, you know what I mean?
You know what the trip to me is? I had the chance to listen to it the other day, and I was like, there's a darker tone to it. I'm at it's crazy because I'm at a really good place in my life right now. But the album does have a darker tone. So I was like, it kind of is like a Chicano underground darker album. Like it's but it's a trip, because if you listen to the messaging, it sounds darker, but there's a true message of hope behind it all. Right? Like but it's crazy because it sounds, I think a lot of the songs sound really dark and real, like it's a trip, man. It's a trip, but there's a lot on there too that's like pretty rough too. Right.
So what do you want to end the note on? Like far as the album, what do you think what do you think people can take, like you just said, from this? It's a dark place, but it has like it's light at the end of the tunnel. But like as a whole, what do you think the people can take from this project right here?
I think it's really it's a chance to understand a lot of who I am, where I came from, and I'm glad that Irv said those songs are relatable, because it is, a lot of it is telling my story, right? And a lot of it is telling it from the point of view of who I am now. Had I done this album years ago, the perspective would have been way different. So telling a uh more mature point of view from it. There are a lot of songs where I'm boasting and bragging. You got to do that. It's hip hop,
Right.
right? But even then, I try not to do it as
Right.
crazy, right?
Do it too
Like I
much.
try, yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say it's a mature underground themed kind of album because it's not something like you would hear on the radio. It's not something that you would hear even a lot of. I chose a lot of beats that I don't think a lot of people would use. I try to go for a raw, dark sound on a lot of them, and really I built the album around Scandalous Streets and Keep It Low Key or Low Key. Those are the two songs that I said I need to have these songs on the album,
Right.
and built a
Good luck, yeah.
built an album that will complement those songs.
Right. Got you. Got you. That's a dope concept. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
to meet that standard right there of what those songs were.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I try to I try to start from kick it off with like my parents did, so kind of showing my youth, and I end it with California Sunshine to kind of show where I'm at today.
Right.
So it's just like it's the kind of like a journey. There's
Right.
songs that deal with addiction. There's other songs that deal with generational trauma, gang banging. There's a lot of different songs that deal with all of that, but at the end of it, it ends with California Sunshine.
That's what's up. Beautiful.
Appreciate that,
Incredible
G.
Javier, the street ethics. How do you want to lead the people? Javier, anything you want to give any shout outs? I know any people, worked on out, like anything you want to speak about.
Yeah, just thank everybody who tapped in, who had the chance to listen to. We chopped it up for a while.
Yeah, we
So
chopped it up.
yeah.
We're
So
really supposed to get on here about the music. I know that was like late, but we
it's all
had
good,
a
man.
great
It's all good.
conversation.
Like
What up, Jen? So yeah, it was a great conversation. I would say that
yeah,
interview.
that's what I love coming on here because it's always a great conversation. So for everybody who tapped in, I appreciate that. The Nasty Crew, always got to send love to the Nasty Crew because they were also a motivation behind the album because they were there from the beginning of a lot of those tracks. Which ones? Say It Nasty. A lot of them, they fucking they were there when we were writing it, and they were the ones that were helping get that one out there. Low Key, they were the ones that told me we should do it to that beat and shit like that, right? So, yeah, the Nasty Crew for sure. This is like they are a motivating force behind the album, and my YA babies. Shit, much love to Nasty Crew, much love to my YA babies.
That's right. That's right.
Deal to respect the producer. Can't forget that.
Deal to respect.
Yeah.
That's dope. That's dope. Shout out. You got to shout out to the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. The whole fam bam.
Yeah, Rosie, my kids, my parents, just my tias, everybody who was also motivation for the album and inspiration for the album because a lot of it is stuff that I seen. I was fortunate enough to not struggle with addiction, but I have been close to it, and I do have a song about addiction. So a lot of it is based off of my experiences and experiences around me. So yeah, just to everybody, man. Just much love to everybody showing support to my channel, to the G-Lew show. We're gonna keep it pushing.
Yeah, part incredible Javier. Street Ethics and Travieso's season finale. Do we know yet?
No, I'm still writing the script. I had to rewrite it, and I'm almost finished with it. And it's gonna be. Let me tell you, the Traviesos universe is definitely going to change, and it's going to be a trip. And man, there's gonna be some things that people may have seen coming, but there's gonna be some other things that I'm pretty sure people do. They're not gonna see it coming, and it's gonna be probably it's gonna be a trip. That's what I'll say. I don't want to give away too much, right? But it's gonna be a trip. There's some things that are unexpected.
Right. Okay.
And then the core theme of season 1 and season 2 are consequences, and there are definitely going to be consequences for everybody's actions, and some people are going to see that those consequences cut deep and are very painful, unfortunately. So that's what I will say.
Okay, so just stay tuned, people. The Travieso season finale coming soon, sooner than later.
Yes, sir. I'd say within the next couple of weeks.
Okay, there it is. Do we have any more songs? We go out of here with the song.
Let's do the one that actually I put this one out a lot. So let's end it with this one. It is called it's street. Let's do Street Lullaby.
Street Lullaby. Do I have that one? Oh yeah. Okay, here we go.
That's me and the young homie ARS. It's about this one's a trip. It's multi-generational gangbanging.
Okay, here it is, y'all.
I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby. I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby.
Dear son, I really hope you're doing as well as can be, and choose to pass your time in there intelligently. First of all, I send my sincerest apologies. When I was your age, I didn't think that you'd follow me. In fact, I never thought I'd live to see these years. Looking back, I introduced you to this atmosphere, and that'll always haunt me till the day I'm in the coffin. Your mother always asked me, why don't you stop them? I had my own issues and I didn't think you would listen. Plus most of your life, I was higher in prison. Now she blames me, I can't blame her for that. Look at where you're at, you know you're greater than that. It's fucked up, it's like you're paying for my mistakes. You got a son now, son, so I know you could relate. I have to cut this short so my boy stays strong. And please forgive your father, cause I know I did wrong.
I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby. I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby.
As a youngin', I looked up to your thuggin', inspired by your ways. They couldn't tell me nothing. At times I was angry, but more so confused. With all of this lies, how much more could I lose? In my section, cannons on protection. Aim at a op, drop 'em at an intersection. Took a L for possession, now I'm in corrections. Rehabilitation ain't no form of correcting. Hood in my DNA, Pops was the same. 3 generations, how you expect us to change? My seed on the same blocks, but head in the books. Background from the streets, but strays from the crooks. Never could I hate you, cause now I understand. Product of environments built to destroy man. Never could I hate you, cause now I understand. Product of environments built to destroy me.
I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby. I was caught up, I was trying to ride. Robberies and homicides. We live out here like we wanna die. This is my street lullaby.
There it is, y'all. That's another banger, Street Lullaby. Street Ethics, available now on all digital platforms. Incredible, Javier. My boy, thank you, homie.
Thank you,
Another
G.
great
You
one.
guys have a good one.
Much love, homie.
Much love.
Peace. We're out. Have a great weekend, y'all. See us on Sundays.